Welcome to the Real Estate Reserve Podcast with your hosts, Jason Balin and Ian Horowitz.
What's up, Ian? Happy Tuesday. I saw you behind the scenes. Playing costume.
All right, fair enough. Anyway, what's going on, man?
Not much. Welcome back to the Real Estate Reserve Podcast. If this is your first time checking it out, if you're listening to it on audio, if you're watching us on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, or many other channels, welcome. We have a lot of fun on this podcast, and we also try to keep it as interactive as possible. So if you have any comments along the way, you will see a little comment box. You can chat under the YouTube video. You can chat in your Facebook feed any way that works. If you just want to say hi, you can do that as well, and we can chat. That's always fun. Happy to answer any real estate questions that you have, or marketing or business or personal finance, some of our favorite topics. So this episode is about Atlas Shrugged book, and we're going to go into that in a second. And it's also a special announcement about a community, like-minded community that we are going to be putting together. And it's also going to be a little bit of an accountability group that is free for everybody who's interested. So we get to talk a little bit about that. So if you have any comments, questions, feel free. If you could do so kindly and share this broadcast to anyone who you think would be help, anyone who you think would have value from watching any of these podcasts, feel free to hop on as well. So let's talk about Atlas Shrugged. So first off, raise your hand, comment, interact with us anyway if you've ever read the book Atlas Shrugged. Anyone who've ever read the book Atlas Shrugged, want to comment, want to chat. So here's the thing. I think a lot of you have either read the book Atlas Shrugged or heard the story. Now, the interesting thing about Atlas Shrugged is it's super, super long. I think it's 1,200 page text, 1,200 page book. And what is it? 62 hours audio?
Yeah.
About 62 hours of audio.
Yeah.
Personally, neither one of us have read the entire book. We both know, for the most part, the story. We've bought in notes on it. We've listened to podcasts reviewing it and things like that, but neither one of us have read the book. Now, there's been a few people that I know that have read the book, and a lot of them have read it multiple times, right? Including one of our buddies, that Josh, that actually works at Hard Money Bankers with us. I actually asked him yesterday because he used to have a company named after Atlas, and I found out yesterday that 2 of his kids were named after the book, which was new to me. So that was so that was interesting. And he said he read the book 7 times, and he typically does it in a week, which you can't sleep if you're going to do that. But he was so into it, which was great. So anyways, we're going to talk about this challenge that we have for everybody. We'll talk about that in a second, and why this challenge started. But a few things. We are we're going to be creating an accountability group, and as a community, as a real estate community, we're going to talk about, or first off, we're all going to read this kind of separately, individually, first quarter 2021, right? So between January 1st and March 30th or March 31st, we're all going to read this collectively. And that's step one. If you have not read the book, or if you don't have access to the book, I'm actually going to comment. I'm going to comment the Amazon link to you, just so if you've never even heard of this book, you have access to it and you can see exactly what it is. And more excitingly, we've created a Facebook group as well. So it's a new Facebook group. If you go inside it, and if you're going in it like right now in real time as we're talking, you're going to see how new it is, because Ian and myself are the only 2 that are in it. Our business partners aren't even in it yet, but they will be by the end of the day. So the group, will obviously it's free to join. Hop on in the group. It'll be a lot of fun. But the purpose of this entire group, number one, is to be accountable and take the pledge to read the book if it interests you, right? if it interests you. So that's step one. And step two, soon as everyone's done the book, so let's call it, early April, right? Everyone's done the book. We're going to try to chat and talk about takeaways, because different people are going to have different takeaways depending on what part of their life, what part of their business they are in. And that's exactly why Josh has read it 7 times, because he's, been in different places throughout his life.
Yeah, that was the point I was going to bring up, is that, a lot of people talk about the one book EMyth, and I don't want to make too much confusion here, but where you're at in your business, you get a different takeaway each time you read it. And I think that'll be the same here. I'm actually really excited, because I'll be the idiot of the group. I didn't even know about this book until I was listening to this one podcast. They were doing a review. I was so amped up. I was like, yo, dude, you ever heard of this book, man? Like, we gotta read this. We gotta read this. He's like, dude, I've heard of that. And then I was talking to my wife. I was like, yeah, have you ever heard of this book? Like, it's so awesome. Like, I can't wait to read it. And she goes, yeah, that's the book in Dirty Dancing when the one waiter gives it to the girl or something. I was like, how am I the only one that doesn't know about this book? But I'm really excited to read it and see what my takeaways are at this point in my life, not knowing anything about the book. And I know I guess it was written probably, was it the 80s? And the premise of the book about being a producer. I think it's,
it's not 80s, like 50s.
50s. Okay, there you go. Yeah, they were talking about railroads, right? Like so I'm really excited to actually get deep down into it. I have a pretty decent commute every day, about an hour each way, and that's kind of my time to catch up on podcasts and books, and that's how I'm gonna tackle this massive task. Is to try to listen at least an hour a day. If you break it down for 62 hours over the amount of weeks we have, what does it work out to? About 5 hours a week, right? If there's 12 weeks in a quarter, 5 hours a week. So if you can listen for a half hour in the morning and a half hour in the afternoon, at least 5 times a week, and most people have a commute, it's a great way to make your commute go by, expand your mind, and get this book done. It's not that monumental of a task. Personally, I wouldn't be able to read it because my brain I'm not very good with that.
And a few things to note. It is a fiction book. Not everyone are going to agree with all the principles of the book, including myself and Ian. And, I know in broad view what the book is about, but that doesn't mean that I know every little thing about it. And there's also apparently, a lot of people completely disagree with the book, and there's been apparently groups that want to ban the book in certain countries as well, because of it. But it is a fiction book, and it's it's kind of interesting to me. Like, Ian and I both listened to a 5-part podcast, which was about 3.5 hours. We listened to that over the last day or so, and it was interesting. And the two guys that put the podcast together, like, I don't fully agree or believe in a lot of the stuff that they do, but as a business person and as a human, like, I did agree with some of that. And I think it's interesting. I think actually some of this will turn into some controversy, good or bad. Hopefully good. I mean, having a little controversy or having a little debate obviously isn't the worst thing in the world. So I think it's going to be interesting to see where it plays out. And I believe, a lot of this related to, being a producer, because that's a big part of that book. I don't remember what they use as the other term, but I guess it was a producer and a moocher. Was that right? A producer and a taker? I'm not 100% sure, but I believe as real estate investors and business owners that we produce, right? We produce housing, we produce jobs, we produce opportunities. A lot of real estate investors, give a lot to charity. You produce things for others and help others, and help grow the economy, help grow a lot of workforce, a lot of things. So one other note, and I don't know if you've hopped in, with I post a link to the group. Okay. When you hop into the group, you'll notice this is towards real estate investors in general. That's a lot of our sphere, a lot of our circle, a lot of you watching or listening to this are in the real estate investing world. or just real estate world. It doesn't have to necessarily be real estate investing, in the real estate world. So a lot of the conversations that we target and that we discuss moving forward should be towards real estate investing in general, right? I think that will provide the most value for all of us.
Yeah, and to wrap the whole, what's the overall goal of this is, one, to challenge everybody that watches with us, and it's a great way to participate. And we can all read this book together, because it is going to take 3 months, and it is going to take up the first quarter of the year. And honestly, it'll hopefully get everyone on a path to expanding their mind and reading other books. Number two is, at the end of all this, it's not just what me and Jason's opinion of this is. We're looking forward to bringing on, everybody that's participating in this group, anyone that wants to get on there and speak about what their takeaway is, and do a big panel interview and almost have it as like an interactive mastermind group. That's more what we're looking for. Because again, what Jason takes away from it and the way he conceptualizes it, or like I see Alex is commenting, or whoever else, John, who seems to have pretty good knowledge of this book, is what their takeaway from the book is, and how it relates to their business or their life, and obviously for all of us, like as Jason was saying, as producers, how does it relate back to us and what we're doing today, and what we can, look out for. Even though it is fiction, some of this stuff is based on, in the end, there was something that came out from this person by writing it, that, something was influenced them to make them write this, right? So I'm really excited. I'm really excited, one, for the group, because, as you get a really active group and people start talking about it, and really dive deep into this, what's going to come out of it is even better, and just like our Real Estate Reserve podcast, me and Jason, like this show, hopefully it gets a ton of views, because we're trying to get everyone in the group. But in the grand scheme of things, it's just me and him talking. So most likely it's not going to get a ton of traction, versus when we bring other people in and we have people share their experiences, such as Jeff Cohen, or when we do case studies, or Terry Royce, or whoever else comes in, and we bring them in as a guest and provide you value. That's ultimately what the goal of this group is to get everyone into the group, and you guys are able to provide value to each other. And that's what's the most important, So
what do you think we should do, a panel after the fact, or maybe just do like?
Well, we'll see how much participation we get inside of the group. Whether it's a panel interview and we do a StreamYard like this, or we do a Zoom link where it's a little bit easier for everyone to interact, we'll decide that, based on what the interaction in the group is. Obviously, the more interaction, the more we want to be able to have everybody work with each other and be able to talk, because one of the cool things on Zoom is potentially we could do breakout rooms and discuss certain little points. But we'll get there at the end. We got I think the biggest task at hand right now is to get the book ordered up, get it shipped in, and be able to get rocking and rolling on January 1. I might have to cheat a little bit, because I do get sidetracked, and I might have to start ahead, because I want to be able to, because the other thing is we want to be able to provide, in the group, we want to be able to provide topics as we're walking through it and spark conversations, So I don't know how we're going to do it. And as you guys can see, we're just kind of going through this live on the air. So as we walk through it, join us, and we're open to suggestions.
Yeah, John, I agree. I've been seeing a lot more bumper stickers and stuff like that. And I mean, I don't know. I don't know why that's the case in general. I mean, it could be based on political times. I mean, I don't 100% know why. And I'm hoping that we'll be able to kind of like have a civilized conversation that's not political related to the book, because I do kind of know, without kind of sharing what, what direction some of this is in. And that's fine. But I think part of the reason for tailoring this, not just to the whole book in general, potentially, obviously, there's religion in it. There's obvious politics in it. But if we could potentially tailor this to the real estate community in general, and at the very least, chat with other real estate investors what their takeaways are and what their thought process is. And I think it's a good time to do it, first quarter 2021, because, hey, listen, there's going to be a market shift. We strongly believe that. I would have guessed that it would have happened by now, but who knows? Could be a day from now, could be years from now. I don't know. But, I think now's the time that a lot of people are hunkering down and educating themselves. Since kind of COVID's hit, I think a lot of people have just been doing a lot more reading as well. So, put it on the book list.
Yep. And here you go. Here is the Facebook group. In case you're looking for it, it's Atlas Shrugged for real estate investors. There's a picture of the books. We'll drop the links in here on Amazon. They're direct links. We don't make any money. That's not our goal here. The goal is literally for people to read the book, pick up whatever medium you want. I think something I heard that was really good, and I didn't even think about this because I do a lot of driving and listening, is to have the paper copy of the book and listen to the book at the same time and be able to walk through it and highlight what you want. I know my man Terry Royce, I don't know if he's on here, but he likes to highlight the books and go back and review the points that he really, really likes. I think this is a great opportunity, especially how long this book is. Take a half hour in the morning, take a half hour at night, read through the book, listen to it potentially and highlight it at the same time, or whatever the best practice for you is. We'd love to hear how you enjoy books nowadays, since there are so many mediums to listen to them on. If you guys want to comment on what the best way to get through a book is, we'd love to hear about that too. So,
yeah, listen. And, I shared on our Monday morning huddle with our entire team this week that, if you're a textbook reader or a physical reader, read the book and listen to the audio at the same time. I mean, personally, I usually do about a book a week, and mine's just because I'm not driving that much. It's just walking / roaming around my neighborhood.
Yeah. So I guess real quick, before we go here, we don't have a ton of time today, but on your Monday morning call, when you were, so every Monday you do a team meeting, right?
Yep.
We do every Monday. You're doing a team meeting
on Zoom. Yep.
Yeah. So we got, whatever your 5, 10, whoever's on the call. What was everyone's reception to your team? You're like, hey, we're all going to read this book. Were people in on it, out on it? Or are your team members open to expanding their mind on these types of things? What was the overall feedback? Just out of curiosity.
I mean, I think someone who's got ownership interest / sales interest is, so half, yeah, the other half, I don't know, might not be the best use of their time. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. It just depends on what they want. It wasn't like, hey, you have to do this.
Right.
Chris will do it and I'll do it. Josh has already listened to it 7 times, or read it 7 times. He's not a listener. He's a reader. So I don't know if he was like, oh, I'll ship you the book. I was like, don't ship me the book. I don't need the book. Everything's perfectly in my Audible account. Very, very clean and easy to do. Like, that's how I do it. I don't need any physical copies of the book. That thing's bigger than a college textbook. So I'm good with that. Listen, different people need things in different times. Think about the EMyth, like one of the best books that so many entrepreneurs and business owners and a lot of people in real estate as well. That I don't read books multiple times. I should. I don't. I probably will in the future. I've gone through a lot of books this year, so I think if I can keep up this pace, for a longer period of time, then I will be going through stuff. But in general, a lot of people read books multiple times, 2 or 3 times, but with EMyth is an easy one to describe because, most people start off as a technician and then they move to a manager and then they move to a visionary, right? So you have to read that book 3 times because there's 3 different phases. And when you're a technician, you're not going to be thinking like a visionary or maybe even a manager. And if you're a visionary, if that was the first time you're reading it, you might not be thinking as a technician, although you should, because you should have all sides. So I actually believe if you're getting started with things in general, with real estate, it's the best book one of the better books to start with. mindset wise. So I think in general, different people are attracted to different things, and people's time is valuable, right? So, think about all the books that you want to read. I mean, there's so many good books out there in general, or podcasts. I mean, listen, I am not going to finish my book a week this week because I spent 4 hours or 3.5 hours on, that 5-part series on this already. Right. So like time is valuable with that. And you don't want to just jump into something. I mean, doesn't it, I don't know, it pisses people off, including myself, if, I start reading a book and it isn't enjoyable, or a TV show, right? Or like a Netflix show or a movie, right? And it's like, I just wasted 2 hours on this movie, right? So people take it seriously. And usually it's, a recommended book from a like kind person, right? Like that's usually how most people get books, is referring from somebody in the same place as they are. So to answer your question, not everybody inside our business is in the exact same place, in business, in life, personally, whatever the case is. So I don't know the answer. I don't know if everyone will read it. And to be honest with you, there's a lot of things. If you're going to read a 62-hour book or listen to a 62-hour audiobook, there's probably 10 other books that would come in line first. But I think this is going to be a fun exercise. A lot of people that we've talked to know the book, know the premise of the book, know the story of the book, but they've never read it or taken the plunge. So it's like, screw it. Let's all put up our hands, take the pledge, and say we're just going to read it. And the best part about it is when we're done with it, instead of talking to like a friend or a buddy or a business partner about it, we get to talk to a community about it. And we all get to share what we got out of it. Because that is what's going to happen. Different people are going to get different things out of the book. And that's always the case. And I don't know if you've ever looked into those sites that like the Cliff Notes sites, or, oh, hey, download all these books and you can read them all in 24 minutes or 16 minutes or whatever it is. Right. And, I've done that before and I like it. But the thing is like, I'm going to get something different out of it. Everybody, an 8-hour audiobook or however long it takes to read a physical book, I don't even know. But doing an audiobook, for instance, 8-10 hours are usually business books. You get one little takeaway from it. It paid for itself and it was worth your time, right? So I am going to get something different out of the book than you're going to get, that Chris is going to get, that Dan's going to get, that anyone's going to get. We're all going to get different things out of it. And unfortunately, everyone has to do the heavy lifting. It's not like, oh, just tell me, I know so many people are like, oh, just tell me what it is. Just tell me about it. Then I don't have to read it, or just tell me what happens. It's like, what do you mean what happens? Like,
it's the same premise of if you pay attention, right? Versus just, we can all get free content from YouTube, but then sometimes you still pay for people's classes because it's not resonating with you until you have some sort of intimate relationship with whatever you're doing. And in that relationship, it's money. In this relationship, it's our time. So 62 hours, 56 minutes, I'm going to do it. I guess I could post once a week where I'm at on my chapters, see if people are keeping up or whatever, man. But I really,
what are we doing? Like a race?
No, not like that. I'm trying to pace it out. Because look, I say I'm going to do an hour each way or a half hour each way. Phone calls, traffic, need my navigation. I can't stand using my navigation, trying to get somewhere and trying to listen to a book because it stops and starts and I'm like so entrenched in it. So I'm really excited to do this, and I just want to see other people come along with us for the ride, because from my understanding of this book and from the podcast, and I understand I'm viewing it through their eyes that we listen to, and we'll share inside the Facebook group whose podcast we listen to re-spark our interest in this book, is that I find it important, that other people join us in this journey to read this book, man. I don't know why I'm so motivated to read it, but they got me so amped up to read it. You've got me amped up to read it. Everybody else I talk to is like, yeah, dude, great book. Like, you've never heard of it. So that's why I'm amped up. I want to see other people do it, join us in the journey, and hopefully it's able to expand people's minds, expand their businesses, make their lives better, whatever this book does for you. I'm excited to see what other people get out of it. And that's me. I like that. I'm so bad with quotes, but rising tides float together. No, I don't know the quote, but you know what I mean. I just want to see us all do it. I think it'd be a grand old time. So
I'm commenting about
and share, comment, and share. Right.
This is the Facebook group to join the community and pledge to read, listen to the book together in 2021 Q1. Got him. Cool.
So it was a short episode this week, but we have a huge bond.
Hey man, we might have another one coming up Thursday or Friday. So
do it. All right. Well,
this wasn't our once a week. This is just to brain dump some stuff real quick.
All right, live announcement. But we are working on some other fun projects along like this book. Hopefully we can release it here soon. But we're working on a really, really cool project for January.
I guess Chris just chatted this through our page that we're on.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no.
He probably I don't know if he realizes he's on our page and not his, but it's all good.
Yep. So
yeah, I mean, I already got it on Audible. So, and I will tell you, the only thing that does suck is I had to push this. I'm pushing this in front of the line from other stuff that I had ready.
Yeah.
So, and that kind of sucks because
what was your next book going to be?
Let me look.
Because we both just finished. What was that? American Kingpin. That was a pretty cool story. So,
dude, I've had 4 books since that one, my friend. But yes, we both just finished it technically. But yeah, I've had a few things. I've had a few things since then.
I see your post, Chris. You defaulted to HMB, so that's why you put your name. Fair enough. So,
let me see. Usually, most of my stuff's business related in general. But I also really like autobiographies. But so, anyways, all right, man. Should we hop off?
Yeah, man. Like you said, we'll be going live hopefully later this week. We got some cool episodes coming up. Happy to do it. And get your copy. And don't forget to join the group. Comment. Let us know when your copies get in. If you want to get a head start, you want to start reading, you got any comments, any points. If somebody's read this book and they're doing it again, if you got any points, tips, tricks, don't ruin the book for us. But if you're like, hey, pay attention to this little chapter here, it's going to be important later, please help the community.
Yeah.
So
definitely hop on the community, say hi, say what's up. When you join, just say, hey, where you're from, and what real estate strategy you concentrate in. We'll just start with that. Get to know everybody. And yeah, along the way, say, hey man, I'm stoked. I just finished chapter 1 or the first 100 pages or the first 10 hours, whatever it is. All right, guys. See you later.
Thanks for tuning in to the Real Estate Reserve podcast. Do us a favor and like, comment, and share our broadcast. It helps the algorithm and helps us spread the word too. Till next time,